Good morning, Neville.
Very good morning to you, CK, and another bright sunny week starting in London.
It is quite hot in India as well, and we are still
Good.
in lockdown. It is day 27th today. So I have a bit of information for you that some of the states have extended the lockdown in India. Earlier, the lockdown was up till May 3rd. Now, some of the states in India have today announced the lockdown will extend till May 7th. So I think some of us are going to be in lockdown for a very long time. But the good news is that so far, India as a country is conducting a lot of tests, and the fatality rate is lower than the other European countries in India, and also the number of cases, positive cases that the Indian government has announced are lesser than the European and the American numbers. So we have not yet flattened the curve, but I think we have to wait for another 6 to 7 days to really see the curve being flattened. So that is a bit of good news from my side.
Well, that's excellent news, and it's something to smile about, especially as we're tripping through the alphabet. So, smile. Why don't you smile?
I am
It's worth smiling about because it's really good news.
I'm
Yeah,
I'm smiling.
excellent, excellent, and we're on S. So why don't we hit the word smile? Or in fact, what we're going to do is going to hit the word smiles. Okay? Because that's quite a long word. And the interesting thing is, when we're very young, we smile a lot. You look at a baby, and it's very difficult to see a baby that isn't happy, unless they're crying out their eyes out, But most babies have got a smile on their face. In fact, if you look around the web currently and you look for GIFs of babies, they're all smiling. Whereas the adults don't smile a great deal. But let me ask you a little quiz. What's the longest word in the world?
I've heard this word. It's quite difficult. I don't really remember, but I think it goes into 2 to 3 sentences. I think that's one word. That's the longest word that I know of. I'm sorry,
Well,
I don't know the answer.
no. Someone said to me, supercalifragilisticexpialidocious.
Are you sure this
Which
is
is
the
a long
longest?
word. And it begins with S, amazingly enough. But very simply, the longest word in the world is smiles. Because between the S at the beginning and the S at the end, there's a mile in between.
Right.
Yeah, that brought a small smile on your face.
Right.
But it could. Joking aside, we don't smile enough. But let's do something. Let's do something really simple here. And you're my guinea pig of the day. You haven't even got a choice whether to volunteer or not. You are the volunteer. What I'd like you to do is to look up up to the ceiling. Get a firm look on the ceiling, and I want you to have a big smile on your face. That's it. So, big smile on your face, and big beaming smile. You've got to look up at the ceiling, and a big smile on your face. And what I'd like you to think of is something negative without losing the smile. Now, the thing about that is, it's not easy, is it?
I can't do that because I am thinking about smiling right now.
Exactly. So if you're smiling, trying to think of something negative while you're smiling, your brain is now confused and it says, well, actually, I'd rather smile because that's happier. That's easier because we don't have to think much to smile. So consequently, if we smile, we can't think of things negative.
Right.
And it's one of the simplest things you can do to start reducing your what we call behavioural waste, which doesn't begin with an S, by the way. It's a B and a W. But the thing is, by smiling, we can actually start to reduce some of the negative. So when you're working with your team, especially on this interactive arena that we are today, when we're locked in at home and our only real communication is digital with our team, Smile. It's infectious. Even by me just saying smile, you smiled. You know, so it's illogical, really, but it's really simple, and it gets things moving. And if you've noticed when you're walking down the street, I mean, we notice all the time when we're walking around, people that don't normally talk to each other, if you smile over and say good morning, they're forced to smile back. It's an automatic reaction. It's very difficult not to smile at someone that's smiling.
So, Neville, I think what you're trying to tell us is that always be happy, and that is infectious. I'll share some experience with you right now. So, when I was in US, people used always say, "How are you?" Right? But they don't ever smile. It's like it's a very stern, very, very stubborn kind of expression. If you meet somebody, "How are you?" without smiling, right? So I think that's, and they are not waiting to hear your answer. They will simply say, "It's like a custom. How are you?" and they walk away. So I think, I think another thing we need to learn from what you're saying is that we need to be always happy within ourselves and smile always, all the time.
It's a simple thing, and as you say, there's lots of automatic reactions and automatic sayings. So I would regularly, when I had a proper job back in the 80s and 90s, I would go into an office on a daily basis, and I'd walk through, and if typically I was first in the office, so I didn't have to say hello to anybody apart from the cleaner that was leaving. But I would say hello, good morning, how are you? And the cleaner would smile back, you know. But when the team came in, and I would wander out and just say, hello, how are you? How's your weekend? And have a smile. It's infectious, People will respond to it. So although we're under lockdown and the majority of the time you're just looking at a screen, smile, because that comes from within. And the more you do it, it's not just an issue of being happy, it's being content, and if you're content, then you're relaxed. And the more relaxed you are, the faster you can think about things. And all of these things they're almost syndicated together. So if I'm relaxed, I'm actually incredibly productive. If I'm under stress, not stress that I'm enjoying, because there is an enjoyable amount of stress. That's another letter S, by the way. Not one that I would recommend. But for some reason, a lot of students like to put themselves under stress because they hand in their assignments at the very last minute, for whatever reason. But some people work that way. But if you smile your way through it, then life is a lot easier. This isn't difficult. It's not rocket science, and it's very simple. And you think, well, it can't be as simple as that. The answer is, that's another S, simple. There was a phrase, I don't know if you recall this phrase, keep it simple, kiss.
Yeah.
And some people would keep it simple, stupid might be on the end, depending upon where you were in the world. Because it didn't mean stupid. It meant keep it simple, stupid, because if you make it complicated, you're going to be stupid because people won't understand it.
Right. So I think the learning for today is keep it simple and keep smiling. That will make the life very easy for all of us. We will be more productive. We will not be able to. We will not be, complicated for others to understand, and we will not be complicated ourselves for us to be more stressed. So I think these are certain learnings for us for today, Neville.
Yeah, absolutely. And if you start simple, the day will just fly by. So when you're talking to your team today, smile.
Certainly, I will do that.
And we'll be back tomorrow with a tea.
Yes, I wonder what that tea is.
Well, it won't be tea. Anyway, enjoy your day, CK, and smile, everybody, because life's beautiful.
Certainly, and thank you so much, Neville. Be safe, be positive. We'll catch up tomorrow again.
High five.
High five.